change, we need to know when the effective date is, and then we need to have all of our little political discussions about when that would actually be able to benefit you. So if you're in 2014, you cannot move those plants indoors under R&D. Okay.
And I'm going to have Samantha Walsh come up here really quick and talk about where we are with our cleanup part of the bill for this legislative session, since she's kind of in charge of all that for us.
Okay, can I just sit here?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we have a late bill title. It's just going to clean up the language from last year, which was a little bit overly cautious, but that's because we're still, proceeding carefully, waiting to see what kind of guidelines we're working closely with Jared Polis's office. So what kind of guidelines you're going to get done on a federal level. Now that the Hemp Amendment's passed in the Farm Bill, we feel like that gives us a little bit more leeway. So we're going to be, hopefully in this cleanup language, we're going to be taking out the 10-acre requirement for R&D. You'll be allowed to do R&D indoors. And then that will, we think, through discussions with the Department of Ag, will make the registration deadlines sort of moot. So those are going to be reworked in rule. And then once that's signed by the governor, then Department of Ag will do some rulemaking, to accommodate the changes in the hemp bill. And then I can answer a few questions. I think some people were talking about cross-pollination in regards to like marijuana and hemp. This is the reason we put a GPS requirement and mapping, so that when counties do zone this, because this comes down to a county issue, who have zoning for agricultural purposes, who have zoning for industrial purposes. Marijuana is not recognized as an agricultural crop, so it doesn't really get zoned in to growing in agricultural areas where counties have zoned in for that. So this sort of defaults to a county issue. We're working with counties on this right now. So far, no county has opted out of growing industrial hemp, so that's a positive. Arapahoe County likes to think that they did, but that's not true. And then I think that's pretty much a wrap up. I don't know where Veronica went. Oh, yeah, this is a wrap up of where we are. So, call your legislators, call your, actually, there's another thing. Office of Economic and International Trade Development has sent me a list of a few grants that they feel that people in the hemp industry would qualify for. If you have a pen, you can write down my email address, and I will email them to you if you're interested. My email is Samantha, SAMANTHA, JOWALSH @gmail.com. And Rocky Mountain Hemp Association also has these, this information on file as well. But yeah, these are grants in economically depressed areas. So if you're growing in, for example, San Luis Valley or out in the Eastern Plains, sort of like southeastern Colorado areas, there's grants available. There are 3 bills going through the legislature right now that are called advanced industry bills. Hemp manufacturing, I have talked to people, talked to the governor's office. They do believe that hemp manufacturing falls underneath the definition of advanced manufacturing. So now we have some grants and income tax credits available, or we will once it's signed. It's still going through the law. So pay attention to those bills. Call your legislators, call your representatives, tell them to vote yes on these bills. But there will be one of them is really exciting. It's an income tax credit deduction for people who invest in hemp in advanced industry, hemp manufacturing being one that would fall into that definition.
Can you give your email address again?
Yeah, it's Samantha JoWalsh @gmail.com. So Samantha and then JO, no E, and then WALSH @gmail.com.
Is it JOE?
No E, JO. Joe. Very country.
And what was the last part of it? At what?
Gmail.
Gmail.
Can I ask you guys to give Samantha a few more? Samantha came on as a lobbyist for the first hemp bill, as well as the second hemp bill, and did it for nothing except for sweat and blood and tears, and literally.
And rain sometimes.
There was some stuff that we were able to straight out, but
yeah.
I just need to put that out there because Sam really has nailed this the whole way through. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. I have a question pertaining to the cultivars and varieties in Canada that are exempt from testing. How long will it take Colorado to have a seed that would be exempt from testing in the future? How does that get determined?
Okay, we are very pro certified seed. However, CSU is the seed certification agency for this state, not the Department of Ag. And so when CSU has permission to do research and when they get money, because money makes the world go round, then seed certification will become a reality in terms of the state's program. And I don't know how long that would take. It could take 5 years. But that is a mimic of Canada's program, where there are certified varieties that are exempt from testing, is definitely something that we would like to work towards. But we are missing some partners right now, so it all remains to be seen.
I just want to follow up on that. Laura's, first of all, been doing such amazing work, and it's been a real honor and privilege to work with her. I've never seen regulators really just take such a positive approach to industrial hemp, as opposed to I have lobbied on the marijuana side, and it's totally different attitude. So thank you, Laura. But yes, about money, I just want to real quick, I don't know if anyone saw that, like, speaking of marijuana, you know, tiny little $100 million tax revenue windfall that the state has received. One of the things that we would like to push, and so again, contact your legislators, is that we would like to have research and development included into how that money is reinvested back into the state of Colorado. And a big part of that being cannabis research and development. So the entire plant, we feel that would allow institutions like CU and CSU to be able to apply for grants through the state, and as well as other nonprofits to be able to apply, you know, to grants through the state and to be able to further that research and development. So we're working on making money available to those research institutions. And the other thing is CSU has announced, their chancellor has gone on the record and said after many, many months of it being sort of not really talked about by them, but they have said that they are working to make, you know, to do a research and development program. So that's super exciting.
Couple more questions here.
Let's be quick. My name is Karina Zadalis, and I would like to plant a seed with you all in thinking about how we talk about industrial hemp. If we really look at the writing on the wall, the industrial age is really coming to a close. And what we need here, it sounds like, from all the connection and potential problems and potential opportunities, is more of an open source approach. So I'd like to think of industrial hemp now evolved now to a open source. There's always going to be the need for proprietary information, for, you know, making money and things like that. That's, of course, part of the mix. But think of Linux, think of Wikipedia, think of Joomla, think of all those things. You know, we have associations out there, we have different groups out there. Let's have more transparency, let's have more conversation, let's eliminate the people who are not in the choir and get them taking the oil, improving their nutrition, wearing their fibers, everything that we need to do to really, we have this opportunity. We need to get that work done now and connect with each other, make those jobs happen. And I know it's still a long road, but we've come so far, and I just want to say thank you and go forward with open source hemp. Thanks.
Well, and I have to say, one thing that Enviro Textiles and our 7 hemp companies before Enviro Textiles in the U.S. so successful was focusing on the areas that hemp had not been seen. You know, being at the industry trade events that never seen the product, being at the the local music festivals instead of necessarily the hemp festival, and really introducing it, being available to everyone that hasn't even had the pleasure to eat it, wear it, or become really captured by it, because it captures everybody. They just need to be enlightened a little to it.
Thanks again, Laura, and thanks all of you for making this possible. My question is, in 2014, if I register as a commercial license, or excuse me, as a research license, can we switch back and forth from year to year, or can a company hold both licenses? And then is there any registration process or licensing if you're a processor of industrial hemp?
Okay, so we would not let you switch back and forth, but it is totally legitimate for you to register as both. Okay, but on our application form, so if you want to register as both, we would ask you to fill out 2 separate registration forms. We need to be able to clearly decipher what's research and development and what's commercial, and we're going to treat them differently. So that the crop that you designate as research and development, we're going to treat it as that, and you can't switch it back and forth. And the crop that you treat as commercial, we're going to treat it as that, and you can't switch it back and forth. Okay? Processing. We do not register processing. So that is not regulated on the industrial hemp side. You could switch from year to year, yes. The registration, yeah, is good for a year, and if you need to switch it next year, no big deal.
Thanks, Laura. We are at our last question, and then we are going to conclude this meeting. So,
Well, this is for all the optimists. Do we need to register, or, the registration deadline is May 1st, but what if we don't have our land yet? Do we still register?
can't register without GPS coordinates, but I'll let Laura cover that.
Okay, so here's where maybe the other question I was getting at. We're trying to figure this out. We're going to call you. So your application is going to come in incomplete. And as I said, if we don't have too many, we're planning to call you. I have 2 people that work with me on this, so 3 of us. Okay, we're going to call you, and we're going to ask you what's going on. And if we feel confident that you will be able to get that land, long and short of it is you have to have land. We don't want to take your money if you don't have land. We don't want to take your money if you don't have seed. We don't want to take your money if you don't have plants. And yet, you go through the process, your fee's non-refundable. But I have to make sure that when it comes down to sampling time, that we have a place we can go. We got to sample. So, anyway, we will work with you, and if you you're sure that you're going to have the land, you're going to have the facility, we can register you kind of as a pending. We're not going to give you your certificate until you actually are full-blown, ready to go. So those are the things we're trying to work with you on. And we're trying not to be jerks and just return your application and say, nope, you're not going to make it. Although, I guess, that is an option. If we can't get a hold of somebody, to find out what's going on, we will return the application.
Did that answer your question? All right, we are done for today. I want to just go in closing with a few things. First of all, thanks everybody, and thank you so much, panel members. I very much appreciate everybody coming.
How about this American Metal and make this
Okay, so we will conclude. 3 things I do want to tell you is please be sure that you find your email address or your phone number or something on one of the Grow Hemp Colorado lists so we can inform you when the next meetings are, because there will be more meetings and they will be topic specific in some cases as well as we go down this journey together. The second thing is there is a press group outside who's doing a documentary. Anybody who would like to be on camera or in a documentary, please feel free to go interview with them. And lastly, I would like just to make a note, there are 2